Hello there everyone and welcome to a new series on the channel called Let's Make a Game MZ. We did Let's Make a Game before, but I decided to cancel the series because it wasn't going well and it just started getting boring. But with the release of RPG Maker MZ, I figured why not do a series on it, and we'll hopefully do more than we did before. So in this series, we're going to be creating a simple RPG. We're going to go for a very cliche story. 4 crystals, evil beings stealing a princess, and stuff like that. Real cliche stuff. And we'll go for like basic stuff. Keep things simple. And I'll be going through the process of how I make a game and how I like to do stuff, but this could be different for you. So in this first episode, I'm going to be starting with some database stuff, and then we'll move on from there. So let's start by creating some classes. So actually, let's go change some terms. We're going to change these to 4. We're going to have sword, staff, dagger, and bow. We're going to go with these 4 weapon types. For armor, we can do general armor, light armor, heavy armor, magical armor, and we'll also do shields. And in the equipment types, we can have weapon, offhand, head, body, and accessory. Skill types will keep at magic and special, and elements will keep the same as well. Now, let's start by creating our first class, which we're going to call Swordsman. They are going to be using the special skill type. They can equip swords, they can equip general armor, they can equip heavy armor, and they can equip shields. That's some basic stuff there. I'm going to change some of the evasion and hit rate stuff. Because they're heavy armor, they're going to have a slightly lower evasion rate at 4%. Crit rate will stay at 4, hit rate will stay at 95. Target rate, they're actually going to be more of a target. We're just going to make that 105. And the general build for a swordsman is average HP, low MP, because there isn't really much MP. Fairly high attack. I'd say do about either B or C. I'm going to do C. Defense, but also C. Magic attack, I put down to D. Magic defense, D. Agility, because they're heavy, I'd put them down there to either D or E. And luck, I'd say about D or C. I'm going to do C. So that's a swordsman. Next, we're going to have a mage. So their skill type is magic. They're going to be able to equip staffs, general armor, and magical armor. Their HP tends to be fairly low, but MP much higher. We'll do C for that. Attack is generally lower, same with defense, but their magic attack tends to be a lot higher. Their magic defense usually less than their magic attack, but their agility and luck tend to be hindered. So you can see some change already going on. Next, we've got the rogue, who can equip daggers. We're going to also do slot type dual wield. I like to keep things organized. Equip armor, we're going to do light armor. And their special is, well, their skill type is special. I forgot to change the evasion rate of these. 3 for the mage because they aren't exactly mobile. Crit rate we'll keep at 4%. Hit rate surprisingly higher. There we go. They also, I'd say they have normal hit rates. Vogue, I'd say they have average HP, low MP, average attack, especially because they'll be attacking twice. Average to below average defense, below average magic attack, below average magic defense, above average agility, and average agility. Luck, I'd say. So as you can see, I'm not actually happy with the swordsman. I'm going to give him below average luck. Okay. So now evasion rate, they have slightly higher. I'm going to give them 6%. Hit rate, they also have a higher chance at 98. But I'm going to give them a lower crit rate because of how they fight. And finally, we're going to have a hunter. So they are going to have access to a bow, general armor, light armor, special type. Their crit rate is actually going to be higher. Their evasion rate is going to be a bit higher. Their hit rate is going to be a lot lower. We're going to do about 92%. Their target rate, they'll be about 95 as well. So while they can have good crit rate, they're going to have less chances of hitting than other classes. So for the hunter, they're going to have below average HP, below average MP, average attack, average defense, average magic attack, average magic defense, above average agility, and I'll give them above average luck as well. So you can see the kind of stat breakdown. What I'm planning is for mages to be obviously offensive with magic, and I'm going to give hunters some healing abilities, so it will be good. Now we've got those, let's create some of the actors for it. So we're going to go with the RTP stuff. So for swordsman, we can either do one of these two or one of these four, and I'm sort of leaning towards having this one here, and we will use the side view battle system, and I'll name him later. Next we have the mage. So for the mage, we can either have any of these ones. These tend to be clerics, these tend to be sorcerers. We also have some of these as well. These ones unfortunately don't have a side view, so I'm going to lean towards having I think I'm actually going to have him as our mage. I just prefer the look over the witch's hat kind of look. For our rogue, we have the options of these two, or these two, and I'm leaning towards I like her design. It's really nice, and I think it really fits the dual wielding of daggers. And finally we have the hunter, which I personally think these two are the best choice for. I'm going to give it to her, and she will be our hunter. So there we go. There's our party. We haven't got any names for them, but we've set up their classes. We'll come up with names as we go through working on this project. So what I'm going to do is get rid of all these weapons and set it back to, let's do 100. You can do the same thing with armors, because I like starting fresh. Enemies, we'll just delete these. Troops, we can delete those. States, we'll leave the same. Items, I'll also get rid of, and we'll work on those. I'm going to actually move the recovery items down to 11. So we have these reserved ones for special items, and recovery items will be all down here. Skills, I will remove these eventually. We're going to use these as kind of references, and I'm going to also organize spells into a better way because I'm not a fan of how these ones are just displayed. So let's create the base weapons. So what I do is create ranks of sorts. So for example, we're gonna have a iron sword, steel sword, platinum sword, let's say gold sword, mithril sword, dragon sword, and then I'd sort of rank them. I usually try to have 10, but for the time being we only need 1, and the initial weapon is going to be a simple wooden sword. Let's give it the sword icon, a training sword made from wood, weapon type sword, animation / physical. Price, they tend to be a lot lower. Let's do, when we sell it we're going to get 5 gold, so we do 10. And attack, usually I leave these at 0 until I've decided better scaling options. So I think for this I'll set attack to 4 to begin with because it's wooden, and then the next one will be a bit higher. So for armors, let's do some shields. I apply the same logic. So we're going to do a wooden buckler. Going to have the shield icon. Do shield. Simple, a buckler made from wood. Armor type, shields, offhand. Price, we'll do about 50. And defense wise, it'll give about, we'll say 2 defense. And then again, I'm going to try and have 10. So I'm going to actually set the next position to 16. I like to keep things organized in a way that works for me. So we can do heavy armor head, and then at 31 we're going to do heavy body. Get rid of the word armor just so it's a bit more visible. And what we'll do is leather armor. We'll have it as this one would do heavy, a set of armor made from leather. Armor type is heavy, and it goes on, oh sorry, leather helmet. I've made a mistake. I got the wrong order. A helmet made from leather. Light shield, it'll be probably a bit more, we'll say 75. Defense, give it 3 defense. I'm going to copy the leather helmet over to here. This time we'll do the leather armor. A set of armor made from leather. And body armor tends to give more defense. So the leather and wooden set would give a total of 9 defense and 4 extra attack. And eventually I'll fill these up. So let's just equip some items to a character. There we have wooden sword, wooden buckler, leather helmet, leather armor, and no accessory. And as time goes on, we'll expand these all to have all these stuff, such as the iron, and then steel, and so on and so forth. As shields are the only offhand, we're gonna actually it's magic next, isn't it? Magical head, magical body. Then at 76, I believe, it's light head, and then light body. I need to actually expand this to 150. At 106, we'll do accessories. There we go. This is organized, ready for when we add stuff. Like I said, I like to do a rank system where everyone has the same amount of stuff. It's just different ranks, so you can get, like, even though a hunter would join later because they're the final actor, we could get there like a wooden bow or something early on. So a few things I'm going to change. Let's just get rid of all the actors. System 2, we're going to set sword to swing sword, staff to swing staff, dagger to swing dagger, and to swing dagger, and bow for missile bow. And I'm going to set this to 1280 by 720, 1280 by 720. And then we'll organize some more stuff later on. So here we go. Here's our first actor and who's going to. So I'm also going to do some organizing for the main game itself. I like to have some form of organization in terms of maps. So we do towns, dungeons, points of interest, cutscenes, and I also have an events where I have templates for events. And finally, we've also got the world map. I always end up moving to the top, but I like to have towns, dungeons, points of interest, cutscenes, and events all written out first. I'm also going to set this to 100 by 100, and we're going to loop it. There we go. So now we have our world map ready to be edited. We'll be slowly building up this as we progress through the development of the game. As I said, we're going for the standard 4 crystals, gather them all, and stop the evil. Obviously, we're going to need to create some items for those. In fact, in the reserved, we could have those as key items, but let's create some potions. Let's call this a potion. I'm going to mark it as medicine, heals and allies, ally health by, we'll do 40%. I think 40% is quite good value to have early on. Consumable, yes, we'll make the price 150, I believe is a good price for it. Trying to think of what many of the other games do, many other RPGs do. Then I always have a middle potion, which is going to be our high potion. That's going to give 70%. Price, I'll just do 500. That'll change later. And finally, a max potion. Heals an ally's health by 100%. Then copy this, and for ether we'll keep the same icon. So ether heals and allies mana by 40%. High ether heals and allies mana for 70%. And finally a max ether, which is heals and allies mana by 100%. And finally we've got the combination of the two, which I always like to do something a bit different. An elixir, medicine, fully restores an ally's health and mana. Always yes, and I ain't going to give it a price just yet. Usually I'd say 5,000 is usually a good price, maybe more, depends on what you want. And let's also give the ultimate elixir or mega elixir, which hits all allies, or hits ally number all alive, fully restores all allies health and mana. Those are some average heal items. I'm actually going to change this to healing items. And we're going to do recovery items. So this would be antidote. And I always use this little vial here. Cures an ally of the poison ailment. And we're going to remove state, poison 100%. Those can be used whenever. And next let's do the blind. So we're going to call this eye drops of the blind ailment. I am about to steal some Final Fantasy names. So to cure science, we're going to use Echo Grass. Cures the silence ailment. What's next? Rage. Let's do. Trying to think of a good name for this. Yeah, let's do refreshing. You know, I'm not sure. I'm just going to leave some question marks until we can come up with a better name. Confusion, I tend to avoid. Charm, because the charm ailment. Sleep, because an ally of the sleep ailment. And smelling salts works out quite well for that one. Then you got paralysis and stun, but I'm going to put these under a different one. So we're going to create a cure for all negative ailments. So cures an ally of all negative ailments except death. So let's remove state, poison, remove state blind, move state silence, move state rage, confusion, charm, sleep, paralysis, and stun. And also I forgot to give all these animations. But let's call this one the refreshing herb. And let's give each one of these animations. So we can do do heal 1, heal 1, heal 1, another heal 1. All these are basically heal 1. Then we'll do heal 1, number 2. And we'll do heal all 1, 2 as well. Hopefully that animation applies to every single actor. Then for this, we're going to do your 1. Each one of them. That's 45. Your 1. Your 1. Your 1. Your 1. And this one might be cure 1 number 2. I think works out quite well as well. I'm just going to expand this to 50, as now we need to do the revival item. Trying to think what would be a good thing to use. That always feels like it's a negative one, but I'm not sure. Let's do this. Let's try and think of a good name for it. For the time being, I'll do this. Medicine revives a fallen ally and restores their health by, let's do about 30%. So scope 1 ally who is dead. Always animation, we'll do revive 1. So remove state, dead. And we'll do HP recovery. We'll do b.mhp divided by 10 multiplied by 3. So that'll be 30%. And there will be a 20% variance to give it a bit of effect. And we'll also do one for the whole party. All fallen allies. Switch that to all. Revive. We'll also keep that revive 1. And that'll be expensive. Bye. So I think that's all the recovery items. Got all the healing items. It's going to be some stat boost items. We're going to do that here. So we'll do stat boost. And then we'll move on to the other items after this. There we go. We've got pretty much the basics set up ready. And I think this will be a good place to end off this episode. In the next episode, we'll begin working on a few maps, continuing the database, and seeing how well it goes. So, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed and are excited to see this series as it goes on, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are not. So until the next episode, thank you for watching and goodbye.